Loni K. Anderson, August 5, 1945 to August 3, 2025, was a celebrated American actress whose enduring charm, talent, and beauty made her a household name throughout the late 20th century. She was best known for her iconic role as Jennifer Marlowe, a glamorous and sharp-witted receptionist on the hit CBS sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati. She aired from 1978 to 1982. Her performance in the series earned her critical acclaim, including 3 Golden Globe nominations and 2 Primetime Emmy Award nominations. Born in St. Paul, Minnesota, Anderson showed an early interest in performing. She was raised in the nearby suburb of Roseville by her parents, her father, a chemist, and her mother, a model who supported her artistic pursuits from a young age. After graduating from high school, she attended the University of Minnesota, where she studied art and theater. Even as a young woman, her striking looks often drew attention. But it was her intelligence, comedic timing, and charisma that would ultimately propel her into stardom. Anderson began her acting career in the mid-1970s, appearing in a string of guest roles on popular television series such as SWAT, Barnaby Jones, and The Love Boat. However, it was her role on WKRP in Cincinnati that cemented her status as a television icon. As Jennifer Marlowe, Anderson broke stereotypes of the traditional dumb blonde archetype often seen on TV. Her character was not only stunning, but also highly competent, poised, and often the most rational person in the room. The role resonated with audiences and critics alike, and helped redefine how glamorous women could be portrayed on screen. Following the success of WKRP, Anderson continued to work steadily in both television and film. She starred in several TV movies during the 1980s and 1990s, including A Whisper Kills, the Jane Mansfield story in which she portrayed the 1950s sex symbol and, wrong number. Her portrayal of Mansfield was especially noted for its depth and vulnerability, showcasing Anderson's range beyond comedy. In the 1990s, she returned to sitcoms with roles in Nurses and Easy Street, though none reached the iconic status of her earlier work. In addition to her acting career, Anderson was frequently in the public eye due to her high-profile personal life. Her marriage to actor Burt Reynolds, one of Hollywood's most famous leading men, garnered intense media attention during the 1980s. Their relationship was often scrutinized by tabloids and ultimately ended in a very public and contentious divorce in 1993. Despite the challenges she faced in her personal life, Anderson handled the scrutiny with grace and later spoke candidly about the experience in interviews in her memoir, My Life in High Heels. Published in 1995, Beyond the Screen, Anderson was active in charitable causes and advocacy work. She was especially involved in raising awareness for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD), condition that affected her parents. She used her platform to promote better healthcare, awareness, and education around respiratory illnesses, often participating in fundraising events and campaigns for medical research. Though her career slowed in later years, Anderson made occasional appearances in television and public events. It's often celebrated for her trailblazing role in women's representation on TV. She embraced her status as a television legend with humility, remaining appreciative of her fans and the opportunities her career had given her. Loni Anderson passed away on August 3, 2025, just 2 days shy of her 80th birthday. Her death marked the end of a remarkable life lived in the spotlight, one that inspired many through her resilience, talent, and wit. Fans, colleagues, and entertainment historians remembered her not only for her beauty and style, but for the intelligence, strength, and grace she brought to every role she played. She is survived by her children, including her son Quentin, whom she adopted with Reynolds, and by countless fans whose lives she touched through decades of entertainment. As the quintessential blend of brains and beauty in Hollywood, Loni Anderson's legacy lives on through the characters she portrayed and the groundbreaking path she carved for women in television. Loni K. Anderson was born on August 5, 1945, in St. Paul, Minnesota. She was the only child of Clayton Carl Andy Anderson, an environmental chemist, and Maxine Hazelney Callan, a former model. Her upbringing combined the influence of science and glamour, a duality that would later be reflected in her on-screen persona: intelligent, poised, and effortlessly captivating. She spent her formative years in the suburban community of Roseville, Minnesota, where she attended Alexander Ramsey Senior High School. Even from a young age, Anderson stood out. Her beauty, charm, and warm personality made her popular among classmates, and she was voted Queen of the Valentine's Day Winter Formal in 1963. A fitting title for a young woman who was destined to be in the spotlight. However, those who knew her best also recognized her as bright, driven, and ambitious, more than just a pretty face. She had a strong will and a clear sense of purpose. In her candid 1995 autobiography, My Life in High Heels, Anderson recalled a humorous yet telling story about her name. Her father had originally intended to name her Loni, inspired perhaps by a touch of exotic flair, but reconsidered when he thought about the potential teasing she might face during her teenage years. Concerned that the name could be twisted into something inappropriate like Leilani, he wisely chose the simpler, unique name Loni. That decision gave her a distinctive moniker that would later stand out in Hollywood. Casting rooms and marquees, Anderson pursued higher education at the University of Minnesota, where she studied art and theater. While in college, she began to develop her acting chops, appearing in stage productions and honing the skills that would carry her through decades of television success. Her Minnesota roots, grounded, resilient, and no-nonsense, remained part of her character even after she found fame in Hollywood, though she would go on to portray glamorous characters, especially in the 1970s and 80s. Her down-to-earth Midwestern upbringing helped her navigate the highs and lows of a career in show business. Loni K. Anderson, August 5, 1945 to August 3, 2025, was a beloved American actress. Best known for her role as the glamorous and quick-witted receptionist Jennifer Marlowe on the CBS sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati 1978-1982, her work on the show earned her widespread acclaim and multiple award nominations, cementing her legacy as a television icon of the late 20th century. Born in St. Paul, Minnesota, Loni was the daughter of Clayton Carl Andy Anderson, an environmental chemist, and Maxine Hazelney Kalin, a former model. Raised in suburban Roseville, she showed early signs of charisma and leadership. While attending Alexander Ramsey Senior High School, she was voted Queen of the Valentine's Day Winter Formal in 1963. In her memoir, My Life in High Heels, Anderson revealed that her father had originally intended to name her Leilani, but feared it would be twisted into Leilani during her teenage years, so the name was shortened to Loni, giving her a distinct name that would one day be known nationwide. Loni's acting debut came in 1966 with a small role in the Steve McQueen western Nevada Smith. Despite this promising start, she spent much of the next decade struggling to find consistent work in Hollywood. It wasn't until the mid-1970s that her career began to build momentum. She landed guest appearances on popular television shows including SWAT, Les Policewoman, and Harry. She even auditioned for the role of Chrissy on Three's Company, a part that ultimately went to Suzanne Summers. However, she would later guest star on the show as Susan Walters in a 1978 episode. Anderson's big break came the same year when she was cast as Jennifer Marlowe on WKRP in Cincinnati. According to show creator Hugh Wilson, she caught the attention of producers after posing for a now iconic poster in a red swimsuit, reminiscent of Farrah Fawcett's famous image. Wilson claimed she had the voluptuous figure of Jane Mansfield and the innocent sexuality of Marilyn Monroe, qualities that made her perfect for the role. Anderson's portrayal defied the dumb blonde stereotype, as Jennifer was confident, intelligent, and always in control. The role earned her 3 Golden Globe nominations and 2 Emmy nominations. Despite its relatively modest Nielsen ratings, WKRP developed a loyal fan base among young adults and radio disc jockeys. Anderson's rising star power led her to walk out during the 1980 summer hiatus, demanding a higher salary. During contract negotiations, she starred as Jane Mansfield in the TV movie The Jane Mansfield Story, 1980, further solidifying her status as a glamorous leading lady. When CBS agreed to her terms, she returned to WKRP, staying until its cancellation in 1982. Outside of acting, Anderson's personal life drew considerable public interest, most notably her relationship and eventual marriage to actor Burt Reynolds. The pair co-starred in Stroker Ace, 1983, which was both a critical and commercial flop. Despite their Hollywood power couple image, their marriage ended in a very public and bitter divorce in 1993. Professionally, Anderson remained active in the 1980s and 90s. She co-starred with Linda Carter in the detective series Partners in Crime 1984 and led the short-lived sitcom Easy Street 1986 to 87. She appeared in several television films, including A Letter to Three Wives 1989, and White Hot, The Mysterious Murder of Thelma Todd 1991, where she earned praise for portraying the tragic 1930s film star. In the early 90s, Anderson made a brief return to her WKRP roots, with guest appearances in the new WKRP in Cincinnati. She also joined the cast of Nurses in 1993 in an attempt to boost ratings. Although the series was ultimately canceled shortly after, a lifelong advocate for health causes, Anderson was deeply affected by the smoking habits of her parents, both of whom suffered from chronic obstructive pulmonary disease (COPD). In 1999, she became a spokesperson for COPD Together, a support. The organization aimed at increasing awareness and prevention of the disease. Though her appearances became less frequent in the 2000s, Anderson remained a cherished figure in television history. She returned to the screen in the web series My Sister's So Gay 2016 to 2020, showcasing her comedic talents to a new generation. In October 2023, she reunited with fellow 80s TV stars Linda Gray, Donna Mills, Morgan Fairchild, and Nicolette Sheridan in the Lifetime holiday film Ladies of the 80s, A Diva's Christmas, which followed a group of former soap opera stars reuniting for a reunion special. Loni Anderson passed away on August 3, 2025, just 2 days before her 80th birthday, remembered for her timeless beauty, comedic brilliance, and trailblazing role in redefining women's characters on television. Her legacy continues to inspire generations of actors and audiences alike. Off-screen, Loni Anderson's personal life was often a subject of public interest, marked by high-profile relationships and lasting family bonds. She was married 4 times over the course of her life. Her first marriage was to Bruce Hasselberg, a real estate developer, from 1964 to 1966. Together they had a daughter, Deidre. Nearly a decade later, Anderson married actor Ross Bickle in 1974. Their marriage lasted until 1981. Toward the end of that relationship, Anderson had a brief but acknowledged affair with WKRP in Cincinnati co-star Gary Sandy, a fact she would later address openly. Her third and most well-known marriage was to actor Burt Reynolds, whom she married in 1988. The union was intensely covered by the media, making them one of Hollywood's most talked-about couples of the time. In 1988, the couple adopted a son, Quentin. However, the relationship unraveled publicly and painfully, leading to a highly publicized and contentious divorce in 1994. Despite the personal turmoil, Anderson focused on raising her children and maintaining a sense of normalcy amidst the spotlight. In 2008, she married for the 4th and final time, tying the knot with musician Bob Flick, founding member of the folk group The Brothers Four. Their relationship was a full-circle moment, as the two had originally met at a movie premiere in Minneapolis back in 1963, before Anderson had become a star. After reconnecting decades later, their relationship blossomed into a lasting and deeply supportive marriage. Family remained a central pillar of Anderson's life. She had 2 children, Dra and Quentin, and 4 grandchildren, with whom she reportedly maintained a close and loving relationship. She also had a younger sister, Andrea. Though her public image was often defined by glamour and celebrity, those closest to her described her as warm, loyal, and deeply devoted to her family. In 1995, Anderson published her autobiography, My Life in High Heels, offering an honest and often humorous look at her life and career. The memoir shed light on the struggles she faced behind the scenes, including her journey through fame, personal hardships, and the constant pressure of being in the public eye. The book was praised for its candor and resilience, much like the woman herself. In her later years, Anderson remained active in charity and advocacy work, particularly in health-related causes. Having grown up in a household where both parents smoked, she witnessed firsthand the effects of chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD. In 1999, she became a national spokesperson for COPD Together, using her platform to promote awareness, prevention, support for those living with the disease. Even into the 21st century, Anderson continued to act on occasion, bringing her signature blend of elegance and humor to newer audiences. One of her final acting roles came in the lighthearted web series My Sister Is So Gay 2016 to 2020. She made headlines again in 2023 for appearing in Lifetime's Ladies of the 80s. A Diva's Christmas, alongside fellow icons Linda Gray, Donna Mills, Morgan Fairchild, and Nicolette Sheridan. Loni Anderson passed away on August 3, 2025, following a prolonged illness. She was 79 years old, just 2 days shy of her 80th birthday. Her passing was met with tributes from fans, former colleagues, and entertainment figures across generations, all remembering her as not just a television legend, but as a pioneer for women in entertainment. With her dazzling screen presence, trailblazing roles, and enduring spirit, Loni Anderson leaves behind a legacy that transcends the sitcoms and red carpets of her era. She broke barriers, challenged stereotypes, and inspired countless others, proving that true beauty lies in talent, grace, and resilience. Her impact on pop culture and television remains indelible. She will long be remembered as one of Hollywood's brightest and most beloved stars.